Where are the men of color in the green rush? In this episode, we talk with men working in the legal cannabis industry as we look for ways to solve this problem.
Legal cannabis was a $10 billion industry last year, and experts say it's going to be worth over $20 billion by the end of next year. And the big question is this: how do normal people like us, who aren't part of the 1%, how do we take the money in our pockets and participate in the largest transfer of wealth? My name is Charles. I'm joining Roz McCarthy and Eric Range of Canna Talk with Roz, and we explore those answers.
Happy Friday. You are here with Canna Talk with Roz and co-host Eric Range, and I got a special show for you today. I'm so happy to see you. I wasn't here last week, traveling all across the country. But let me tell you guys, we are so excited. And you see, we're stepping it up. We got production value going on. So shout out to the Jarvis Project and all the work they're doing to support us, to make sure that we are being produced well and looking good. And hey, welcome to Canna Talk with Roz. What's up, Eric?
Hey, man, it's good. We did miss you last week, but we had an awesome show as usual. And I'm even more excited about this week, man, because last month I dropped an article entitled "Where Are the Men in Cannabis? Men of Color in Cannabis? You know, where are they?" And I think this show right here is going to tell you a little something about where they are and what they've been doing. We have an awesome lineup, man. Some really good brothers that we've all come to love in the industry. These folks have been, on the ground grinding for some time now, and I'm just excited for the conversation that we're going to be having today, man.
Absolutely. So let me just get it started. I mean, because we don't have enough time, I know, to even get everything in. But the focus of the show today is we're talking about the cannabis ecosystem. And there's a piece of the ecosystem that has to be focused on. It's the education. It's the sharing of information. And you know what? And sometimes we need to have information shared to us in an environment that looks like us, that sounds like us, that's produced by us. And so today, guys, I got some gentlemen here that are producing fantastic events, education, seminars, symposiums, and we're going to do all this. First and foremost, we got 420 coming up. And for those who don't know, that's April 20th. Tell them, what is 420 and what does that mean?
So, 420 is just that universal, globally recognized, mantra of the cannabis industry. 420, for those who are consumers, those who are supporters of the industry, it is just one of those things, that is known. It's like, for instance, it's like the Nike check for them. When you see that Nike check, you don't have to say nothing else. You know what we're talking about. And 420 is that, that time or that number that represents the industry. And across the country, across the world, 420 is recognized as that day where, there are tons of events going on, tons of festivals, music concerts, education symposiums, parties, just a global opportunity for people to really show their love and to participate in this bustling industry. And it's just it's an awesome time. It's also, 2 days before Earth Day, April 22nd. And so we're really representing, the plant itself, where, it comes from the ground. And so most of what you see on 420 are ground movements. And what we're going to be talking about today, with our guests, these folks, again, are on the ground. And so we're talking about Earth Day. We're talking about 420 Day. I get excited. I wish I can clone myself, because we get requests, from Art 420 to M for MM to be everywhere on 420. And so we just get excited, man.
Absolutely. So let's get started. First, I want to introduce Mr. Jerry Ra. Jerry is going to tell you a little bit about himself. He's going to tell you about why he decided to do his educational conference symposium. He's going to share some details with you. And Jerry, if you can give us like a 30-second give us a 1-minute spiel about yourself, about why you're in this industry, how you got into it from an educational perspective, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you, Roz. Roz, everyone there, I am an urban farmer originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. I got into this industry because I moved to Texas And I attended about 76 conferences. The first one being the Minority Landowners Conference, and I ended with the Bug Conference. And during my conference tour of agricultural events through the South, basically the topic of cannabis only came up twice. And so if you know anything about our farmers through the South, they are struggling really. They're struggling across the board, even to the point of committing suicide. And so I went back to some of these conference presenters and the ones who started it and just said to them, hey, look, why aren't we having this conversation? And they just quite frankly told me that they didn't know. I'm talking about the last 2 years before this year. They didn't know people like yourself, Roz. They didn't know Eric. They didn't know M4M and them. They didn't know a lot of organizations that were out there that could bring this information. Right. So I told them, hey, I want to bring this information to you all if you all will support me. And here I am with the Freedom to Grow conference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so we're going to go further and we're going to go to Coach. Coach, and then Jerry, first, Jerry, where are you out of?
I'm out of Dallas, Texas right now.
Okay, and your conference is going to be in Dallas. So we're going to talk more about what it is, what the focus is. Let me bring in Coach. Coach, tell us about yourself, where you're located, and what you've been doing in the industry, brother.
Hey, how y'all doing today? My screen ain't changing, so I don't know if I'm changing. I don't know how it works. But
turn your phone to the side. Turn your phone to, if you're using your phone, turn it on.
This?
There we go.
Oh, hey, there we go. Hey, so I started in 2012. Man, we wound up going to the first the cup down in Denver. Then we did the cup, and then I did the next 3 cups after that. And I'm more like my man who just got off there, who was talking about events that was jumping off. But when we started talking about the events, you know what I'm saying, we got in it from a recreational perspective, and then we started looking at the medical industry. But then, you know, just really trying to understand this industry itself. We understood that, you know, politics was going to play a big part of the game because the infrastructure hadn't been laid down yet. So when we got down to it, it was either, you know, we could teach people about the industry itself, you know what I'm saying, and showing them about things, but it's hard to get into that lane if the industry is not developed yet, because different states have different things and different reasons to get into it. So there's no one template we could use for each state. So but what we did was, you know, I got into the politics of it, you know what I'm saying, because, you know, everybody got a lane, bro. And like my man before me and the one I'm quite sure after me, we all have lanes. And my lane is political. So my thing was to try to get as many political players together as possible to make sure that, you know, when we start going to state, that we have the first rule of this whole thing is where's the table at and who eating on the table. And then to be able to sit at the table with those folks, that's called, you know, let's get our inclusion. And if we don't attack it from that perspective, man, it seems like we were getting boxed out. Let it be barriers of entry from finances, barrier entries, or whatever the situation is. But now we know the jargon, we know the talk, we know the legislation that we got to go in and talk to these people about. That gives us the first, like I said, the first rule of contact with this cannabis scene is from the politics and being involved with the process. So therefore, you know, we start creating events and projects around that. Eric and Roz, I appreciate y'all coming down here and y'all laying it down as far as the activists moving in and asking for our social equity part of it too, because that's a big part of the equation. Because if we don't know what we're asking for, if we don't know that, you know, even a small percentage of what we're asking for is trillions of dollars, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because even if I don't care if you say 10%, 13, 22, whatever it is, those are trillions of dollars when you're talking about this industry as a whole. So therefore, I'm glad we're having intelligent conversations on educating our people on venues that they should be attending. Again, and Rod, you know I'm a rah-rah about this. Sometimes we can't, right now, we can't make it all about black because they got all the information, yo. So, you know, it has to be an all-inclusive and everybody has to have a win-win. And if you are a white organization and you're in this industry and you do not have a diversity or inclusion program in your organization, that's when we need to start talking to these people on how we support them or not to support them at all.
Absolutely. Coach, man, you said, I mean, just powerful stuff. And we're going to get back with you. I want to bring in John right quick. John, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're located, and tell us about your educational platform, this Smoke and Grow Rich tour. I mean, it's so dope how you put this together, brother.
I appreciate that, man. You and Eric, esteemed guests. I'm just glad to be here, man. It's an honor. You guys have been pioneers, so I just wanted to let you know we've been watching you and just appreciate the work you guys have been doing, because I'm telling you, our people are left behind when it comes to this, because we're having the conversations now I'm Southeast born and bred, South Carolina, the Diamond State. That's where I'm from. I spent many years in the cannabis industry and, was arrested in the cannabis industry and then saw the legal side starting to happen out west and was like, oh, really? That's the game, huh? Went back to school, graduated, ended up in socially oriented finance. And my older brother was doing some crazy things in real estate. And he and I came together and were like, you know what, let's go straight legit and do everything we can, to get out of the dark side, and spent the last, 15 years running businesses. And my older brother came to me 4 years ago, come to the 420 event. We went out, had a great time. And I was blown. I was a little bit upset, but I was just blown away by what I saw. And I was like, oh, really? It's a cottage industry out here. So his brothers getting locked up left and right back home. But, people out here just freely living their lives. So, it changed the way I looked at doing business. The margin of error of business is extremely small. When you're going into a highly regulated industry like the cannabis industry, you don't have an opportunity to sit at the table and create the rules because they don't know the rules yet. It's just too new. So when you're talking about the rules, everybody's figuring it out at the same time except us. So what we wanted to do was create the Smoke and Grow Rich tool. My brother came up with the name. I sat back and thought about it for about 2.5 seconds. I was like, that's genius. That's really what it is. And we want brothers to be able to get not only the educational perspective about how to get into the industry, but the laws, the regulations of your individual state, the do's and the don'ts, and, the dovetail coach, the political connections that give you the opportunity to help streamline the industry so you don't get cut out. So, you got to be having those conversations, and without coming to the table with the proper education, you get lost. $300 an hour for your average real cannabis consultant, $20,000 per engagement for anybody who really knows what they're doing in the industry. So how in the world are, most people going to be able to afford that? The Smoke and Grow Rich tool kind of divides that cost amongst the people that attend. So you can either fly out to Denver, $1,700, or you can do it online through a live stream for $1,200. So that's basically how we're doing it. I mean, we just cut the prices, not just in half. They're a fraction of what it would cost you to get this individual.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about what the Smoke and Grow Rich tour is all about and get into some specifics about it. Eric, did you have some thoughts? I mean, when you wrote your article and talked about where the men of color, like this is it right here. I mean, you guys, there is symbiotic relationship between all of us, but more so my men of color, of realizing how do I take an opportunity and I flesh that out. And this is the ecosystem of cannabis. This is a true, like, we educating, but we also capitalists. And let's don't get it twisted. We are capitalists.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, Roz, as I sit here, I actually got chill bumps listening to everybody talk about it. I mean, the one, I hear a couple common threads among all of us. First and foremost, I hear passion. I mean, people in here on this call right now, everybody has a passion for what they're doing, and not just for themselves individually, but for their communities. And that's that second thread, and that's what my article was about. You might be lucky when you go to one of these cannabis conferences to see, men of color there. You might be lucky. You consider yourself very lucky if you get to see a keynote speaker or a plenary presentation by a man of color. You might see a couple businesses with vendors, there, and some black folks are working the vendor booths. Some of them are owners. Some of them are workers. You might see even more walking around as spectators, trying to figure out, okay, well, what's going on? Doing like John and Jerry and Coach all did, and myself as well, going to these events and saying, well, wait a second, what's going on? Right. My article was in part a response to a question that was asked to me a couple of years back. Coach, you were at this conference. You remember you came down to Orlando to MJ Biz, and as I was leaving that conference, one of the keynote speakers came up to me and he said, a black guy with dreads, where the rest of you guys at? And I'm like, we're here, but we don't have time. We can't afford to come to these conferences, and not in the sense of we don't have money to invest in our businesses, but we have to look for a different return on investment. And sometimes paying that $1,700 to come and be a vendor at a conference isn't going to be the best route for us. And we have to consider other things. And so we take different routes, but we are indeed here in this industry. And I think our panel shows that. I'm going to shut up now, man. But,
So Coach, so there's two conversations, guys. You got the cannabis industry and you got the hemp industry. And so I really want to delve off and kind of, split that off into, we got Jerry, who is a farmer. He's an urban farmer. Jerry, your conference in regards to the Freedom to Grow conference, which one, everybody that's on here, your conference is one, you created a brand, you created a name. John said, listen, my brother came up with this name. You got a story. So Jerry, tell us about the Freedom to Grow. How'd you come up with the name? And then also, what are going to be some of the takeaways for people who's the right person to attend this conference?
Thank you, Roz. The right person to attend this conference is your agripreneurs, your people who just got out of being incarcerated and wanting to come in because of the social economic piece. Your restaurantpreneurs, your real estate agents, your construction workers, your medical people. This is really, we put this together for each one of our speakers who are coming to be able to speak to the industry and either give an opportunity or a solution as far as getting into the industry. And so the name Freedom to Grow just came up because, like I said, those farmers in the South, they didn't realize they were free to grow hemp, or they were free to grow cannabis, or that this industry was coming their way. So I came up with that name, Freedom to Grow, because we're free to grow our relationships, we're free to grow our businesses, we're free to grow our wealth at this point in time, and we're free to use this plant to do that. And I thought it was a great catalyst to be able to do that. And so when I started to pick certain speakers, you yourself was one of the first ones, because like I said, when I got into this and I looked out there, M for M&M was the first thing that popped up, and I reached out to you. Women's Grow, a couple of their speakers were out there. And so what I said was, well, look, where are the people that look like you and I? Where are the people who have been in this business who can really give a solution or opportunity? And then just like Eric was saying, I always wanted to attend those big conferences out in Las Vegas and everything. There was no way I was going to come up with $3,500 to get out there, pay for my hotel food, attend networking events. And when I really wanted was the access to Roz McCarthy. What I really wanted access to was the Kevin Hodges of the world, talking about this hemp creek and what it can do, because that then says to my contractors and developers and those who are using new materials, hey, look, I'm bringing this guy who can specifically talk to a green product that we're going to be mandated to use here come 2020 anyways.
Right.
So in each field, I look for those speakers that could speak to that.
Okay.
Hence the Freedom to Grow. And I want to say it's not just a conference, it is a tour. So we have 12 venues that we've been working on. And we just started in Dallas because that's where I happen to be, and I happen to start my tour through the South.
Okay, awesome. So talk about what's the dates for what are we looking like to start and how that plays out.
Okay, so the date for Freedom to Grow conference, the inaugural is April the 18th through the 21st. The 18th starts off with a gala, which we're going to give awards and accolades out to. And then the 19th, we have our Youth Entrepreneur Forum. And then we have an HBCU forum where I think Coach was just talking about how we get these HBCUs involved. Well, I didn't just look at it from a cannabis point of view. What's at the heart of my passion is eliminating food deserts. So one way to pull in our youth behind this whole thing was, hey, how do we eliminate the food desert? Number one. And then when we introduce the hemp to them, it's popular, it's popping. They want to get involved with that. And that's the hook that I use to pull them on in to solve these food issues.
Right.
And then, that's kind of how the conference is focused on that 19th. And then the 20th, we go more into the cannabis industry, the various aspects of it.
Okay.
The real estate, the medical, the construction, that, and then the 21st, which is the Sunday, we go into a cannabis and Christian or cannabis and religion type of conversation. And since it's Easter, we're going to finish up with the crawfish and grits and fish and grit breakfast.
That's dope. That's dope. I love it. I love it. Coach, tell us, Coach, listen, you also on the hemp side. When did you get so passionate about hemp and why? And tell us why you ended up creating your conference and tell us how many people you got scheduled and how you got it going to have it laid out. And it's going to be in Atlanta.
All right. Well, we developed what they call the Southeastern Farmers Hemp Association with Dr. Wilson them down over the Black Farmers and Citrus Organization of America. We were and not trying to give a shout out or nothing to myself or my team, but CPR 420. When we came together and really got into this hemp game, we went down to Dr. Boyd over the American Black Farmers, you know what I'm saying? And I think that was 2014. We did a presentation on hemp. We were trying to get Black people into hemp. And we were surprised that most minority organizations that hadn't even heard that, about the Farm Bill 2014, what was going on, where the money was. So we was trying to get everybody involved. And a lot of people just didn't know what was going on. And then, as we got more in debt into the hemp, man, you know what I'm saying? I kind of again, I came into the industry with getting involved with marijuana at first. But then I'm going to give my man Frank, who owns the Plant Channel. He had me looking at his website, and he had a show on there with Jack Hara. And when I seen the show about Jack Hara, the Emperor Wears No Clothes, whatever, it was like a light went off in my head, and I understood that, man, that this plant, and when my man was talking about 2020, it is a global initiative to go green. You know what I'm saying? And so when we talk about the green movement getting behind this whole hemp industry, what we're talking about phenomenal changes, not only in our, not only in our just one aspect of what people think it is, because we got to remember, man, when you talk about this plant decimating the oil industry, plastic industry, the textile industry, food, medicine, and I'm not talking about, crippling them. I'm talking about decimating them. Right. So when we talk about this plant, we're really talking about a multi-trillion-dollar industry. You know what I'm saying? We got to understand how to, again, to get ourselves in position. My man is getting farmers together, which is the one way that we got to understand, because most people don't understand is we didn't grow over 100,000 acres of hemp last year. You know what I'm saying? I think it was 67,000 acres, which left us with about 33,000 kilos that wound up going throughout the United States. Now, you got to remember the nutraceutical order that we had came across, you had to have farmers doing about 100,000 acres. That was just for one order. Now, you got Coca-Cola just did their 50,000 acre for the plastic, and then they talking about getting into the nutraceutical market. That ain't talking about everybody else that's talking about getting into this. And then you see the federal government finna come in and talk about taking everything up to a food grade. I mean, they finna get ready to come knock everybody else out. So my thing is, you know what I'm saying, who is the first line of defense that we got to have? Who is and I call that our offensive lineman, and that's our farmers. You know what I'm saying? Right. So to get our farmers together, get the organization together, let it be the Black farmers, all farmers, really, because again, this crop is so new that they don't even really know how to grow it yet. It's only a couple of professional co-ops that actually came together that know how to grow the plant itself. So now to bring those farmers together, to bring them with those genetics, to bring them with those schools who are, talking about tissue sampling and all that other stuff that have to be aggressively to move this market. Those are the people that we wanted to pull together. And just to make another a note on my other man talking about pulling them farmers together, that when these people come, either in the state of Georgia, you got your processor who's going to come in and pick out the farmers that they want to choose to grow this. Now, if you got a co-op and they're growing certain type of seeds or strands, because everybody ain't gonna be growing the same thing. Some people want to do high CBD strands. Some people gonna want to do just regular crude oil like Kentucky and out that area. But you got some people who want to get into that fiber and herb, and that market ain't even been explored yet. So to start pulling the farmers together. So when these opportunities do start coming out, that we can wind up handling some of those contracts that come through. And I ain't talking about no, $200 million contracts. I'm talking close to $3-4 billion that these people are contracting out with groups of farmers. So yes, first we got to educate our farmer. We got to get them.
Hey, Coach, we got a couple questions on Facebook about the dates for your event, and if there's a link where they can get connected.
Yes, I think they can go to the Southeastern Farmers Hemp Association.com, or you can go to michaelcoachharris.com. That's Coach. And our event, like my man said, our event is from the 18th through the 21st. And on the 18th, man, we're going to be at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, downtown Atlanta, man. I want to show y'all a little Southern hospitality. Most of these people take us and they charge us, real talk, man, they charge us $400, $500, $600 to get up in some of these hotels and to holler. So, since it's our first line of defense and our farmers is who we have to look out for, I wanted to have something real nice for the farmers to come to, enjoy themselves. And then at night, we're going to have some elected officials to come in and show them some love, letting them know, hey, man, we want you guys to start farming in the state of Georgia. We're going to fight to get y'all in our particular area, and we're going to fight to have subsidies and talk about these green jobs we want for that business to come there or for you to grow in our particular area. And then the second night, we're going to be, and everybody, man, this is an invite to everybody who ain't got nothing to do on the 19th. Come down to the state capitol, Georgia State Capitol, man, on the 19th, man. We have a lineup of all elected officials, individuals like Eric spoke at the event, Rodham spoke at the event, everybody spoke and speak at the event, bro, and we talk about how to make the industry better. But we got the politicians and we're in the state capitol. Most events happen outside, and I also got outside so we can wind up having a rally out there. But then that Saturday, I got a professional golf. Well, it's not professional, but it's a golf tournament. But we got like pro athletes. We got some other people. But it's really to take the top of the hobnobs and pull them together and to put them on. If they come into the Green Cup, then they know what we're talking about. They know we're talking about green solutions. We're talking about that cannabis. So it puts them on our turf to talk about our particular things that we want to. So if you're, and everybody don't know what to do with me, bro, because the industry is new. But if you're a power player, a big boy, and you want to come in and you want to get your hands on the people who are making the industry move, then, bro, build a relationship with them folks. Because just like them other folks, like my man John said before, man, the industry is so new, they don't know how to go and do the politics of this industry. So, man, come up Saturday, enjoy us. And then Saturday night, you can go to a Trap Kitchen Treat on Eventbrite. That's me and my daughter having a private turn-up, you know what I'm saying, where y'all can come and enjoy real Southern hospitality. And I guarantee, man, you don't got to have a lot of money in your pocket. Just come with a good personality, come with a lot of business cards, bro, and come with people who talking about real ideas and real solutions. And then Sunday morning, man, we're going to bounce y'all out with my man. And I hate he took my idea, you know what I'm saying, with the fish and grits. You know, we're going to hit y'all with the fish and grits. Give y'all a little Southern hospitality. Hey, so I'm glad my man down south, though, because he hit him in the head. That's how we do it down south, man. So I'm right with him. Now come on down south, man. Hey, bro, and if I ain't got no farmer can get to me, I promise you, bro, I'll push them your way, man, because they need to get the information, bro, and we need to wind up getting together and, you know what I'm saying, doing a whatever it is. Hey,
so Coach, time out, Coach. I love it. You see why we call him Coach? But y'all see why we doing this? Because this is only 3 that are African-American led. These are led by men of power, that they have the resources, they got the information. They're going to be talking about investors who want to come into play. That's why what Coach is doing and what Jerry is doing, Jerry's going to have his in Dallas. So you got that whole Texas, that whole Midwest area. Coach is going to be in Atlanta. You got that Southeast area. You got John. John, tell us about why Colorado. When you said doing the tour, tell these people, what does it mean about this tour? And I'm so happy that you partner with Higher Yields. And that's my white brother from another mother, because I love Corey, I love Sheva. They hosted us in Denver for our networking mixer back in February. Just some good people that just want to see good things done. But tell us about what can people expect with your Smoke and Grow Rich tour?
So, I'm glad I got the brothers on the hemp side, because we're going to do a Hemp and Grow Rich tour later on. So I'm going to definitely be reaching out to y'all. We're going to plan something.
Yeah.
Smoke and Grow Rich, yep. The marijuana side of the cannabis industry, because, as Eric kind of alluded to earlier, it's a very bifurcated industry. So you want to make sure that whatever your lane is, the rules, regulations, tricks, trades, and all the experts in that particular lane. A lot of people who were approaching us were, some high net worth individuals, real estate investors, people who had, really good seasoned backgrounds. And they were saying, you know what, I want to leave my 6-figure law job and get into the cannabis industry, and I want to do the marijuana stuff.
Right.
And we were like, okay, great. I can hook you up with somebody, $25,000 down. You know, you start rolling through the process. You're like, what? Yeah, 25 down, 12 for your application fees. And, you got to have about 20%, 30% liquid. What is all that? So we were like, okay, maybe we need to take a step back. People are not ready for the investment side just yet. Let's take a step back and do the education. And a lot of people were very surprised about what it takes to get into the industry. Yeah. And how it's already set up to not really include us. I mean, that's just the reality.
And that's the real.
That's the real.
So when we went out to Colorado, we were like, this is Silicon Valley. I mean, richest man in Babylon style. I'm not going to hire a brickmaker to make my glass. It's just, I'm not going to hire somebody who doesn't know what they're doing to help me get out here and prepare a highly regulated, federally scrutinized plant. It's just not going to happen. So we found some of the best in the business who were really out here doing it and teaching people the proper way to set up an operation, whether it be a manufacturing side with a milk, whether it be cultivation with the grow houses, whether it be, security, whatever aspect of the, retail side of the industry you wanted to get into, these guys had a very good program to help you at $20,000.
Right.
And most people were like, man, we can't do the 20. So we were like, great. We set up a way where people can buy into the program together as a unit and basically cover that cost.
Okay.
And they, Higher Yields was ecstatic about it. They mentioned to me directly that, you know what, we've been looking for a way to do more minority engagement. It's a mission focus for us. So the fact that you reached out to us, first of all, you're the first minority group to ever reach out to us and try to set up a platform for other minorities. And then second of all,
that would be second because I've been knowing Corey knows 2.5 years.
I hope he ain't messing with Kevin Cabot to them out there, man.
I'm gonna throw both my hands up on that one. I did not mean it like that.
No, I'm just playing with you. No, but seriously,
we're the first ones importing people.
Right, Corey and Shelby are really, really good people. No shade at all. No, like I got them first. It ain't nothing like that. None of that. Real talk. I'm so happy.
We were the first one kind of leading the Underground Railroad, so to speak. We were importing people into Denver is what I meant.
Absolutely.
Because, in the Southeast, it's different. I like that. Yeah, in the Southeast, it's a little bit different, man. Like, you can explain it to somebody, and they like,
they got to see it,
man, we gonna all go to jail messing with you, this and that.
Yeah.
You gotta take it out there. Like, when we went on the first tour in February and we took people with us, oh man, you thought a cat just, went to, the birthplace of Jesus. Cats was coming back on the plane, like, oh my God, what did I just experience? I got chills. The air was so crisp there, like, oh, they actually like black people in Denver. We were like, you got to come out here to get that experience. Like, it's 100 dispensaries, like in a very small radius. People were just running in and out of the dispensary. We're like, come on, baby, it's your first time, but let me hold your hand and let's stay on task what we're supposed to be doing. People couldn't believe it was an industry.
Right.
People couldn't believe it was accepted. People could believe they were riding around with marijuana in their rental cars and not getting pulled over. And it was the freedom of it all helped increase their engagement.
Yes. And may I say 1 second, and may I interrupt, John? I want you to continue. I was out there with my brother, that was in February, and he went to Simply Pure, which is owned by
Shout out to Wanda James.
Shout out to Wanda.
So shout out to Wanda James, because I'm not a consumer, but I heard you have great products. So
I'm not a consumer.
All right.
But I was out there with consumers. Hardcore.
I'm a consumer, man.
I am a consumer.
I seen somebody take 4 pulls of a Wanda James strand and was hugging themselves in the back of a bus.
Hey, I tell you what. Hey, listen.
You still wanted to bring that. To LA, man. Let's talk.
Wanda had them trapped inside their body for a little while. I was like, whoa, boy.
Yeah, I did consume, and I'll tell you, I took a couple hits, and I was like, ooh wee.
I don't know, man. Hey, y'all done had a better experience. Y'all done had a better experience with me than Colorado weed, because I'm telling you, LA, man. Colorado weed. When we break it down, it just like it turned into dust, man. I guess it's that Cali soil that they get out there, because the best weed I had in Denver came from Cali.
Right.
Yeah.
So not get off. So not trying to get off.
No, definitely.
But I want to give a shout out.
You, good dog.
That's another conversation. But I want to give a shout out to Wanda James, the first African American woman to be able, African American to have a dispensary. She started in Colorado. I know that she's looking to move out to other parts of the country or what have you. But she's been known, and this is not the first time I've heard that she has really good product, and you know, and be it from a medical perspective or from an adult use perspective. And if as an adult user, and if you consume and you have that right, and you know what you like, and you go to someone's establishment, and especially when it's a Black-owned establishment, and you get good product, shout out to her in being able to, whatever her cultivation process is, whatever she does to make sure. And this is why we want to make sure, from a healthcare perspective to a whatever the case, wherever your fit is in the industry, let's just do it with excellence. Just do it with excellence. Deliver a great product. Deliver great education. So so John, when's the dates of the tour that's coming up for April, and how does that start? Like, kind of walk them through how you would sign up or how it would start. Like, how do you have things set up?
Sure. So for our tour, it's going to be the 17th through the 19th, because we don't want anybody consuming over 420, because Wanda James is actually the place we taking everybody on the tour anyway. You're going to Simply Pure. We're going to patronize Simply Pure. We're going to steer people to Simply
Any other minority?
It's just all tour. And it's going to be the 17th through the 19th. So the 17th, you fly in, you get in. We're going to have the meet and greet. We're going to steer you to Simply Pure. We're going to have a great little conversation there, and the layout in there is beautiful. I mean, it's a gorgeous place to go into. Very, very, very clean, very professional staff, very knowledgeable staff. And the second day, you actually begin the classroom settings. We're going to sit you down, and we're going to walk you through live people who are consulting on real projects every day for a living perspective. You're going to start out with the biggest problems in the industry. You're going to go to the growing. You're going to go to the strands. You're going to go through the processing. You're going to go through the sales, the importance of being able to brand, how to protect it, the point of sales. I mean, they're going to walk you through how to actually do this. This is not a conference where you're going to sit in and people's going to give you theory about the marijuana industry. No, they're going to give you the how-to. Then the second day, you're going to see exactly what you learned on the first day. You're going to see a MIP and processing. You're going to see a cultivation facility and learn about it. You're going to see the retail side of it. And people are going to talk to you. The actual owners of the company are going to be able to talk to you, and you're going to be able to pick their brain. 15 years ago, when I started my companies, I probably spent over $200,000 in getting these different lessons, because the game is to be sold, not to be told. Anybody who's really doing this doesn't have time just to talk to you about it unless you're paying them to do it. So when we really look at it, the advantages of being able to sit down with somebody who's owning the actual business that you want to get into and pick their brain firsthand is absolutely invaluable to anybody who's trying to start. For those who can't make it, I know I got some older people who reached out to us. I got some people who had some health challenges, just weren't able to make it, wanted to go. We're going to actually do the live stream just to make sure no one's left out. And we'll be able to price the live stream a little bit separately, because we can't take you into the tours and, people, we don't want necessarily have the owners' faces on camera. And the owners don't necessarily want their stuff to be spread around the country, because that's their secret sauce. So you're paying to get in to learn the secret sauce of the industry at a very modest rate. So when we look at that, we wanted to make sure that our people got a chance to get a seat at the table, man. We never get a seat at the table because it's either priced too high, the regulatory standards are too strict, or last but not least, they don't make it legal until all the big boys have put their money into it.
Right. So, and then we're locked out, and then we're out of the market because it's too
expensive. Now you're priced out. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really going to be a very good tour for those who are serious about it. It's not for consumers and not for people who are curious. It's for people who are actually serious about this industry, who want to dedicate themselves to this industry. I'm from rural South Carolina. I'm from a small town. You sneeze and come up, you in the next county. So when you say farmers dying, starving, committing suicide, that hits home. That's something very personal for me because I know people who've taken their lives. I know people who've lost their farms. Black people in America lose 30,000 acres of land a year. That's a true statistic.
That's right.
So, you know, to be able to say this industry has already created 244,000 jobs in 33 states, and even the states hadn't really opened it up yet. I mean, it's the economic impact that can give us control of our communities, give us control of our future. So we look at people and we go, if you're serious about it, we wanted to give you the best quality education we could possibly give for the price. And we wanted to make it open and available for everybody who either attends and gets that firsthand, or they just take the live stream and they learn about the marijuana industry, the dispensaries, kind of secondhand, but they still get to take notes, ask questions, get engaged, and it helps you understand your industry. If you want to be a processor, here's what you need to be a processor in your state. If you want to be a cultivator, if you love to grow it, here's what you need to grow it in your state. If you just want to do point of sale systems and be on the retail side, here's what you need to do it in your state. There's no other tour giving it. We've been in Denver. Other groups in Denver said, we're coming to your tour, even though they live there, because nobody's willing to give this education away from under 20 grand.
Absolutely.
So that's the smoke and grow rich.
So powerful of you being able to take and this guy's, he is making money, like taking a concept and education is needed for you to understand, because at the end of the day, not everybody's going to grow. Not everybody is going to process. Not everyone's going to dispense. If you're curious, I'd rather for you to spend a little bit now to figure out where you want to be versus having people come take you and ride you for money. And you realize, you know what, that's not the right fit for me. And so that's the key piece of it. And we can be able to, in my opinion, be able to service our community. Not saying that other folks can't service us, but I'll tell you this. I was in Missouri last week, and I was at the Midwest Cannabis Expo, Cannabis Conference and Expo. And, you know, there was one breakout session on social equity for 45 minutes. And you had all the Black people that was in that was probably at the conference was in my breakout session. However, there's more content that needs to be talked about, more camaraderie, some sharing, sometimes we just need to understand the possibilities. So thank you so much, John. I got on the screen here, booking information, how to reach you. I got your phone number up here. Smoke and Grow Rich Tour. He has a PDF. He'll email it to you right now. Reach out to him, call him, let him know that you're interested and you want more information. Now, John, will you do this at different times throughout the year, or is this a one-time, one and done?
So what we're going to do is we're going to do it different times throughout the year. We're going to package it in different communities. We're going to come to different communities. The more engagement we get from people who are serious investors, serious entrepreneurs, the more frequently we'll do it. So it just depends on your engagement, because you got to understand, I'm bringing you people who do real projects every day. They don't have the time just to, you know, answer a few questions. You know, when we got into it, $300 an hour. The first question we asked, a guy shot me an invoice in my email. I was like, oh man, like these cats are serious. Like I was like talking to a multi-million-dollar attorney. Like, okay, yeah, you want to pick my brain? Sign my invoice. So, you know, I mean, that's the reality of the industry. Anybody
I aspire to get to that point. You want to talk to me? Sign this and pay. Make this. I take PayPal, Cash App.
I think that might be my new new technique. I hear you on that, man.
Hey, man, make it very easy for people to pay you. You can Cash App me. You can do PayPal. I'll take it. Like I'll make it easy.
You know, one of the things that I hear here, and I hope that folks out there who are listening, you guys are getting it. You know, the point is there are conferences, events, opportunities to get educated, to get very in-depth education that is coming from our communities. And you know, oftentimes people are asking, you know, I'm sure everybody on here, the number one question I get is, how do I get into the industry? And it's educating yourself and realizing what type of education you need, realizing how deep you know where you are in the process. Some people are, you know, this might be their very first business. Other folks have, well seasoned, or they come from corporate jobs that have transferable skills. So understanding where you are and what education you need in order to break in is important. But I think it's also very important to understand that we have these platforms, these, opportunities to, the infrastructure is in place for you to get the information that you need in order to, really participate in this industry.
Yeah, that would be the number one question. Like, we got questions popping up right now, and if you see any questions, but those who have a question says, I have land. One, you need to be a member of InfraMM. And so all these gentlemen that are on here, they're members of InfraMM. And you know what? Coach has an association. He has his own organization. But Coach, when I first met him, was like, Roz, how can we work together? And that's the power of it. So I'm going to Jerry's conference. You know what? We're going to, John, as you guys continue to do this, if we have people that we need to scholarship, or if I can get some of the organizations out here to scholarship folks, we're going to do that. And we're going to work together. So first, you need to find your, what'd you say, E?
Find your tribe. Find your tribe.
And tell them what you mean by that, and being able to find your tribe.
I mean, in this industry, you're going to find that there are a lot of wolves and sharks out there, and you are better suited in being together with a network of folks that, see this industry the same way that you do, folks who are going to be able to be supportive of you, to help you navigate through some of, everybody on here has spent, a few years at this point, really, finding ways, whether it be from the agriculture side or from the cannabis side, and meeting in the middle, if you will. We've dealt with all of the BS in the industry. You know what I mean? Like, we've been the ones that have been taking the hits, while everybody else is still kind of not sure how to get in. We're the ones that's diving in, head first and taking the hits to be able to, help everybody else weed through all of the minutia and get to where we're trying to get. And so, when we say find your tribe, we're talking about, that family, that, sense of community as you go through this. And this plant itself has always been about community. How many times have a few people from different cultures sat in a room and passed around this little plant, and, that we're all now trying to be a part of the business side of as well. So don't forget to find that community as you move through this industry.
Absolutely.
And I just want to share a story real quick, man. Just it touched my heart. So there's a group called the Cannabis, man. This is young Black folks. I mean, oldest guy in their particular organization, maybe 30, and went into the industry and are out there doing it in the industry. Got a great product, great brand, Colorado Moon Rocks. I want to make sure that I shout them out because they're brothers who came from the streets. And they're one of the biggest inspirations for us during the tour. Those brothers were taken for a ride to the tune of a few $100,000.
Yeah.
Because they didn't necessarily know the rules. They didn't know business tactics. They didn't know business structure. So they were hiring all these so-called experts and so-called professionals. And just, like you said, man, the wolves in the industry will find the people who don't know any better. They'll catch you wandering around. They know what you smell like. They know what you look like. You're the guy that has your eyes all big going, ooh, look at that, and a pocket full of money. And they will come along and they will take you for a very long ride if you're not careful. So, one thing that you can say here is that this is a network. This is a family. When Jerry has his events, I'll be going to Jerry's events. When Coach has his events, I'll be going to Coach's events. You, Roz, Eric, any of you need me for anything and there's no scheduling conflicts, I'm coming. So, that's the one thing that you're getting not only with InfraMM, but make sure that you're getting tapped into programs with people who are credible and who do have staple relationships in the industry that can move you forward. Second thing, Black people, man, listen to me, man. I'm sorry, I got to say it. You spend $1.4 trillion with other people. But when it comes to your community, you marginalize a brother. It's always a hookup. It's always, I need her. It's always, can I get her? I'm sorry. We're going to talk about it. This is capitalism. We're going to talk about it. Please, God, go out and support Jerry. Go support Coach. Come to the Smoke and Grow Rich. Join InfraMM. Spend the money that you were going to spend with somebody else that don't look like you anyway, to build your communities, to help you get educated on how to do something that's going to transform your life, build wealth. And, if you're lucky enough and you really want it that bad, your grandchildren could be eating off what you're doing and they could take advantage of your investments. That's what investing is really all about. First generation wealth is cool, but by the time you get it, you're too old to really enjoy it. It's really for your second generation heirs and their third generation heirs. So you want to make sure that as you're looking at this industry, you're not just saying, hey, man, I want to play in the industry. You're looking at this industry and going, you know what? I got 4 unemployed cousins right now. I got a cousin that's leaving jail right now. I got a nephew. I got 2 cousins that had to move from South Carolina because they couldn't find jobs. So, you know, for a brother to come to me and tell me, hey, man, you know, could I get a discount on something? It's like, hey, look, cats have lost their lives out here to get this information. People have been locked up and had their homes kicked in to learn how to do this business, even in legal states by the federal government. So for those people who were the pioneers, who took the beatings and took the lashes, man, take your time and appreciate those people while they're still accessible to you. Because when this thing blows up, you ain't going to be able to get Roz on the phone. You ain't going to be able to call Eric directly. It's going to be, secretary, can I speak with you? No, right. She's not available right now. He's not available right now. He's booked up through next year.
Yeah,
I can get you on the calendar in 2021. And you know, you're going to miss your opportunity because windows of opportunity are very fleeting.
Hey, John.
Put that out there. It's going to happen. I already done seen it. I had a dream about it last night. I woke up. I was sweating. I was like, oh, my God. We rich. Wait a minute. It's there, though. It's there.
John, mine's going to be, she's away in the over in Ecuador, over in Colombia somewhere, in Costa Rica. She'll be back in 6 months because I'm retiring.
We talking big money. You was in the Maldives, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, 10,000, 20,000 a night. You know, you got to play. You got to have that real paper to be out there in the Maldives. You was somewhere where they can't find you.
They can't even find me.
We're getting closer. Diving off the swivel. Oh, my, hey, man, yo, you see dolphins on there? Is that a dolphin? Like, you see the dolphin? You know.
So we get close to our wrap-up time. Jerry, go ahead, Jerry.
Okay, I just one big thing I wanted to challenge us all who are on this line, and that's John and Coach, and that is that the 3 of us have conferences going on. Coach, you mentioned the Black National Farmers Association. One thing I did when I started to do first this agricultural piece was I said, look, we all having these conferences at different times or whatnot. What you see going on in the cannabis industry right now amongst the other folks, they are consolidating because they're scaling up. So I want to challenge you, John, you, Coach, that we come together and we put a larger conference on because we need one another to be able to take this message around the whole entire nation. And so I just wanted to put that out there. Also, I want to let everyone who's signing up for M&M right now, going to be signing up, are already members. Any of our conferences that you see, the 12 venues, you go to freedomtogrowconference.com. You get 25% off. And if you're a veteran, it's already discounted. You still get 25% off of that. So yeah, join M for M&M. Come get your discount on. That's the only discount you're gonna get. Like John was saying, that's the only one you're gonna get from us. But yeah, brothers, let's talk later off of this and see if we can do this whole tour thing together.
Right. I love it. So you guys,
yo, can I give a shout out too?
Yeah, wait, hold on. Hold on 1 second. So the Freedom to Grow Conference, April 18th through the 21st, is on your screen right now, www.urbangreenu.org. All the information is here on your screen. I'm shifting through all these different ones. So they're going to have agri-apps, agri-tech, cook-off, farm-to-table dinner, entertainment, exhibits, vendors. It's us, for us, by us. Coach, tell us about your conference again, and what you want to leave with us, Coach.
Oh, no. I was giving a shout out now. You got to remember, like, our conferences are learning conferences. Let's give a shout out to Caroline up in D.C. doing the National Cannabis Festival, man.
I'm trying to get her on next week. So tell her to come on. I want to get on Canna Talk next week. So I call her up, man. I'm quite sure she'll love to do Canna Talk, man. I want to get her on.
In fact, call me and we're three-way when you get off the phone. But I just want to give a shout out to them folks in D.C. I got some of the cats from D.C. supposed to be coming down, and when you get other folks at y'all events, man, My man, we were doing, I'm sorry, John, we were doing events with the Medicine Man when we first did the tours up in Denver, you know what I'm saying?
Word. Yeah.
And always open up to that. So, even though you got Wanda in them and doing that, you know what I'm saying, the new facilities that they got as far as going inside, showing people the extraction methodology of what's going on, the machinery they're going to have to get. And me and Raj is going to go check out this dude up in Tennessee that has supposed to be having one of the biggest processing plants in the Southeast region. We're going to be able to get farmers to go to this to see this, man, because once they see this is real, you know what I'm saying, how they finna roll this stuff out, man, then it becomes real.
Know, man. Let me know. I'll take that trip.
Yes, sir. And then, like I said, that these people are expected, like, hold on, and yeah, man, don't nobody take me wrong way on this, man, because I don't want to seem like I'm being an asshole. Being an asshole about what I'm finna say. When we were talking about barriers of entry, man, and this hemp market, I hear y'all, like in Georgia, you had to have $10 million to wind up getting involved with, blah, blah, blah. Man, I'm going to these other facilities, and I don't want us to get confused on what's really going down. It's only $10 million that's what they want you to invest back into the infrastructure. My man said it before, this is what we call this. The infrastructure that we're building is called generational wealth infrastructure. Meaning that a lot of people can't do business here because we have not built the infrastructure. But once we have, that those billions and trillions of dollars will start flowing. But as we're moving forward, as we're trying to put this together, we have to wind up creating those venues that not only we show people what's going on, but how to network with each other. You know what I'm saying? So we can wind up keeping the network, our own network going on. Because you got to remember one thing about when they hit us with Oklahoma and Black Wall Street, bro, when they hit that city, Wall Street ain't have other cities that was there that we could have popped up and just kept it going. So our infrastructure of our network is very important. Our network is our net worth. You know what I'm saying? And those are the relationships we got to start building. And like I said, bro, in the real marijuana community, the hemp community that you got, man, I apologize, man. You got some white folks that just like, you know what I'm saying, they come from the love generation or the love child generation, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying, I'm about my people first, bro, but I'm about building, you know what I'm saying, with love first, you know what I'm saying? So my platform is really all inclusive, you know what I'm saying? Even though you best believe I'm going to look out for my folks, but it's all inclusive, but you know what I'm saying? But we will strike those down who ain't down with it, you know what I'm saying? But, and all that to say, give a shout out. Different people have different venues or things, so we have to push everybody to go out. Like Stan them from Rise them got an event that's here that they jumping off. It's gonna be great, but it's not the crowd. You know what I'm saying? We are two different crowd. Mine is a political crowd, but yet we got people who are enjoying the advocacy part of this business. You know what I'm saying? And so those are different mind frames. So we don't have enough people doing events to wind up starting to trip with each other about coming together. So when we find, like Eric said, our tribe, and we can grab our tribe and start moving, when those lanes are going to start being pushed, but we respect everybody else's lane.
Absolutely. All right. So, Coach, we got you guys. We got April 17th through the 18th. He got a lineup. If you want to sponsor a vendor, registration, the phone number is 770-919-4997. Everything's on the screen here. We have the Smoke and Grow Rich Tour, 704-385-1094. And then, of course, we have Freedom to Grow, www.urbangreenu, like the letter U.org. I want to thank you guys for being on today. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for just your vision of putting things together and knowing that we have to, the ecosystem of this cannabis is all about us. It starts with the education. So anybody that's out there, if you have an event towards 420, I definitely want to get National Cannabis Festival people. I got some other people that are coming on that have events coming up. We want to shout you out. We want to talk about it because it's important that we share this information. So Eric Range, you want to take us home, brother?
Absolutely, man. It's been such a great week. I'm thankful for everybody who's tuned in. Share this video with other folks. Make sure that everybody in your circle, everybody in your network knows who these guys are and what they have going on coming up next month. And make sure folks attend. I mean, we got to get out there to these events. It's great that we have events going on all around the country right now. And that way, I say all the time, it won't be like the .com boom, not on our watch, where we are giving you guys the information. We're bringing it to you. We're not going to look up 15, 20 years and say, and have the excuse that we didn't know. Because we got a group of brothers right now. We're going to have more people on next week who are, building the infrastructure and the platforms for you guys to get this information. So you got to take advantage of it. As always, take some time this week to, love on yourself, love on your family, and enjoy everybody and get ready for next week and hit the ground running. We love you guys. Thank you guys for again tuning in to another episode with Can I Talk with Roz.
Absolutely. Coach, we out of here, brother. Last word, Coach?
Hey, I suggest that the event that all these we talking about doing, since Roz them in Florida, my man in Dallas, my man in South Carolina, come on to Atlanta, man. We can have it in Atlanta, International City, fly y'all in, man. We can do the Atlanta Soul City thing. Real talk, man.
Yeah,
Come on,
Atlanta.
Coach, I'll call. Give me a call, Coach. I can do that.
Guys,
all right, y'all. Thank everybody for being on, man.
Thank you so much. Hey, listen, guys, if you want more information, you got you can go to our website, inframm.united.org. Look at our event tab. All the information is there. I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you.
Man. Talk to you later.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, brothers.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Right.